Names on the road. The real is Steele. He was Von Steele, his teammate, who won yesterday as well. Steele Von Hoff. Von Steele.
Well, I tell you what, Robbie, what's his body going to be like? He's really pulling himself inside out here. From the north of England, they'd say he's burying himself with this kind of effort. What is his what's it going to be like when he gets through the King of the Mountains point at the top of this climb? What's his body going to say to him? Is it going to say, stop, give us a break?
Well, I think once he holds the legs still, once he gets through there, his body's going to thank him. And he knows the job's done. But he's a guy who can push himself. And in a certain way, he'll be enjoying this pain. The local boy, the local crowd, he's on his way to winning one of the major jerseys of this race. So it's all worth it. That pain subsides.
And he's never won a King of the Mountains title in his life as a bike rider either.
He's been close here before in the Tour Down Under, but Astana are the ones putting the pressure on the bunch. And these two riders, it's Cataldo in second position, I think that is, or in first, 93 Cataldo. It's Davide Malacani who's with him, open up a small gap. Simon Clark, who was closing that. The bunch very strung out. I see Stettiner, who's managed to move himself up from Team BMC. Essential that he gets over the top there with Rowan Dennis and Cadel Evans. The bunch has suddenly got a lot smaller. Dennis now riding in front of Cadel Evans in about 5th position. He's under the kilometre from the finish line, which means he's only 750 metres now from the King of the Mountains prize. Almost there, Jack Bobridge.
He doesn't want to see Rowan Dennis go over in second place, though, because that will keep that competition wide open. And Dennis has moved right up with the front runners. Alongside him is Cameron Meyer in the group. They're forming a select group at the front. But take your hats off to this man, going for the fastest world record on an indoor velodrome, climbing a mountain in South Australia for a King of the Mountains title. 1 minute.
1 minute the gap. He should have enough to go over the top in first place. I doubt if Rowan Dennis, who's moved up into 6th position in that line of riders there, is going to try and sprint here, because he's got to keep his mind focused on winning this bike race overall. But you can see the gaps now starting to appear further down the line as it really starts to get grippy here in the Santos Tour Down Under, dancing off the pedals at the moment, looking for everything. This man is turning himself inside out. The concentrating, he looks around every corner, doesn't he, Robbie? Where's the mountaintop? Where's it going to be? Please come soon.
Well, very, very shortly he'll be able to start enjoying what he's put in today. He's going to reap the rewards of this massive effort from kilometre 0 on the attack. He's about to come into the vision of our fixed cameras here, 300 metres from the finish line. The King of the Mountain prize is a little bit just before that. So Jack Bobridge, he has made it. He's done it, set himself that goal today of getting the mountain points first time over. He's done that, and he will win this jersey. The crowd appreciating what he's doing. Look at the numbers on this climb.
Terrific crowds, great atmosphere. The gap continues to fall, but the lone figure of the leader in the Subaru King of the Mountains is going to go over the top. Maximum points very soon. There'll be 16 for Jack Bobridge. It depends on the order behind whether it'll be enough to win the title tomorrow when we finish in Adelaide. But that is a terrific sight. A man from South Australia goes through and will turn a sharp line towards the line. The crowd are looking for him now. That's the corner next lap that they'll want to win the sprint from. A quick bottle, that's the way to do it. The crowd roar him through. 1 lap to go for Jack.
Just pausing for a moment there, Phil, to hear the roar of the crowd as he went through there. That was phenomenal. It's still right at the front here, Astana. 3rd place now there, you can see. Right up there for Luis Leon Sanchez. He's done a phenomenal performance to move up here, but it's still pretty much status quo amongst the leaders of this race, the men who want to win overall.
Well, it's not like we've seen big moves off the front, but look how small this group is now under the pressure of Team Astana, riding for Luis Leon Sanchez, former winner of this race. The back door has certainly been open at the back of this group. Rowan Dennis coming through right at the front. Cadel Evans in his wheel. They'll be looking now for another teammate to come out, because they are going to need some help. They've got the numbers against them, and I'd say there's probably only 35 riders left in this front bunch at the moment.
Well, Race Radio announcing 50 seconds at the King of the Mountains points, but this man, I think he may well be picking it up.
Jack Bobridge heads off now, but the proximity of Rowan Dennis at the top means that the competition is far from one for Jack. But is the stage his or not?
Cycling on Sky Sports is sponsored by the London Bike Show.
Stealing attention, the new Skoda Fabia. What car of the year 2015?
Skoda. Simply clever.
The Sky Broadband Big Sale is here. With 12 months free Sky Broadband Unlimited with absolutely no usage caps. Choose a Sky TV bundle and enjoy award-winning shows on Sky Atlantic with the original bundle. Add documentaries, kids shows and box sets on demand with the family bundle. Plus, get a free Sky Plus HD box when you join Sky TV from £21.50 a month. Don't miss the big broadband sale with 12 months free Sky Broadband Unlimited. Search Sky Sale or call 08442 410 122. Sky. Believe in better.
I sold my car to WeBuyAnyCar.com. I went on the website and told them exactly the condition my car was in. Then I drove precisely 2 miles to my local branch. And I got the exact price I was offered online. I do like it when things are neat and tidy.
To get a guaranteed price, enter your reg number now at WeBuyAnyCar.com, the UK's favourite car buying service.
Soul music. Always the music that was in my heart. And then got married, children. I never really got out dancing on a Saturday night. And then rediscovered my youth. Stepped back in time, as it were. You've got to keep yourself in trim. Healthy lifestyle, eating, everything's a balance. Really, really good, positive, healthy stuff. Mind and body.
Oh my God. I have to tell him.
No.
Tell me what?
Dad is a woman.
I have 3 kids. I can't live without my kids.
You look like you're underwater, Uncle Joshy.
We're both underwater.
Yeah.
You know, this is a really big journey that we're on, and you've just started on it.
You finally make sense to me.
My whole life I've been dressing up like a man.
Not only can you find Enterprise throughout the UK, we're also all over Europe. We're always going the extra mile. Tom, go long! Yes. T-shirt cannon, you do the math.
Maths. It's UK car hire.
With US customer service.
Watch Sky Atlantic whenever you want on Sky Go. Catch up with the girls on a tablet.
You don't even have the bravery to break up with Adam.
I don't want to break up with Adam.
Fall in love with the boys in Looking on a smartphone.
You're in love with him or what?
You're his dirty little secret.
Or discover the mystery of fortitude on a laptop.
Shot him. Bang.
Stories that stay with you on Sky Atlantic whenever and wherever on Sky Go.
Oh my goodness! She is just world class!
A new season of the Netball Super League starts Monday live on Sky Sports 4.
Cycling on Sky Sports is sponsored by the London Bike Show.
Just time for a drink here by Peter Stettner and also the British champion Peter Kenyuk. And in front of Kenyuk is the leader of this tour. Behind Kenyuk is the man who sits second, Cadell Evans, and just behind them Richie Port. We're all poised for a big ascent up to the line.
A little bit further back with the white sunglasses drinking there is the rider from Sky. That's Geraint Thomas. He's a good mate of Richie Port, and he will be trying to set Richie Port up for this final ascent. But everybody now needs to just bide their time. They need to relax a little bit, take on board the last final drinks, because as you said, Robbie, what is it? It's about 7.5 minutes of effort from Willunga to the top of the climb, and it could be a very important 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, this really is the calm before the final storm up Willunga Hill, and I'm sure BMC, Cadell Evans, Rowan Dennis are very, very happy with the tactic of Team Astana at the moment. Just towing this bunch along, they're sitting there very relaxed, not having to do any work, not having to defend anything. Find it a little bit strange from Astana, but BMC will certainly not be complaining about effectively having 4 extra teammates.
40 riders in this group, 4 riders from Astana on the front. The 4th one is the one I think we might see launch the first attack. That's Luis Leon Sanchez. Cadel Evans is number 1. The leader of the Tour is number 7. And just below our picture there, you'll see number 31. He is the man expected to attack, who won here last year. It wasn't good enough then to win the race, but he starts the climb 15 seconds off Oka.
Very, very nervous moments there. There's Jack Bobridge. He's actually scuttled up the main field a little bit.
Jack's amazing.
I think he's enjoying his day here in South Australia and Willunga Hill. I'm sure he's been up it a number of times in training, and he's got himself onto the back wheel of Rowan Dennis. That's a good wheel to follow when we start to think about this final assault. Cam Myers got himself up there towards the front as well for Orica Greenedge. So Orica Greenedge also they've got a number of riders in this group, but they too now are starting to play a little bit of a waiting game.
Everybody's waiting at the moment. There's no reason to go out and try it right now. Flat, wide roads. See Michael Rogers just on the right-hand side moving himself up a little bit. The group is so small, it only takes a matter of seconds to move from right at the back to right at the front. So there's really no panic about positioning at the moment. One guy I did see hovering in the back of that bunch, number 81 from the AG2R La Mondiale team, the little Italian climber Domenico Pozzovivo. He could be the one to light things up on the first steep ramps of Willunga Hill.
The kilometres are ticking off. 9.5 to go. Very soon we're going to be into Willunga once again. We're approaching Willunga for the last time, and then it's literally all uphill to the finish line today. 40 riders are still in the hunt with a chance. It is still the 4 riders from Astana who take stage 5 of the Santos Tour Down Under home today.
Well, Robbie, in a situation like this, when your name is Luis Leon Sanchez and you've got 3 brand new teammates doing the work like that, you've got to be honest with your teammates, haven't you? You've got to be able to tell them, yes, I've got the legs, I can finish this off. So Luis Leon Sanchez must be feeling pretty confident today that he's got the legs to get himself up this climb. And it has smiled on Spanish riders in the past, because if you remember, Alejandro Valverde beat Simon Gerrans to the line by a mere fraction.
It's been good to the Spanish riders, and Luis Leon Sanchez has won this stage in the past when the finish was down in Willunga itself, and he won the Tour. Just interesting, another one I'd like to look in the back of the group says going on. 81, there's Pozzovivo. Behind him, number 64, young Australian mountain biker on the Trek Factory Racing team, Daniel McConnell. No stranger to going up very, very steep hills. Been touted as a super talented climber, and I've been looking forward to see him get onto this hill in this race, because this is the one that will really suit his characteristics.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of riders in that group from Movistar. There's still so many different permutations. It's not really worth going down to the betting office right now to put down a bet, because there's still a bunch of riders can win.
That's a huge bunch now. That's the 2nd group on the road. I don't think they'll be getting to the front today. There's something like 40 or 50 men down there. 8 kilometres from the finish, a long empty road in front of them. And we're not far away from coming back now into Willunga itself. So these boys are going to lose time. Let's rejoin the leaders here now as they look over the shoulders to see how many there are. Another turn of tourniquet is being applied here. Gaps are forming. They got caught out.
Well, this is the good old Dutch tactic coming from Lars Boom on Team Astana. Halverweg, half of the road, put the hammer down, and they've got the gap opening.
Well,
that's
it's
terrific.
A surprise to see them get so surprised. They've been through here 4 times today. They know where the wind's coming from, and Sky has been caught out. They've had to rip out from the back of this group and try and close this gap down. Lars Boom, he just turned the accelerator.
That is so typical of the former Dutch World Cyclocross champion. He's also developing into a great road racing cyclist, trying to move up there. Michael Shaw trying to get everybody sorted out here. That's a fabulous split. It's cost them 1 rider though, Astana, but Sanchez is still here.
So is Rowan Dennis over on the right-hand side, and so too is Cadel Evans. They've caught out Richie Port.
This is amazing, but you've got to pay attention, not wait for the hill. It's in the mind. The hill is coming. That's where it'll happen. Not when you've got Dutch cyclists, because they always decide and let the wind do the talking.
Well, the Astana team have really lulled them all into a false sense of security. Look at Lars Boom, the power being put out there, and this has really split the bunch up. The advantage they do have behind, they're essentially riding just against Lars Boom, and there's a big bunch. Michael Rogers has been caught out. Richie Porte has been caught out. Tom Dumoulin has been caught out.
And what this does a little bit, Robbie, is it asphyxiates the other riders before they start to get to the climb. There's Cadel Evans, #1. He's really giving it full turns.
Now, I'll tell you what, now Cadel is riding as a teammate here to help his youngster who's leading the Tour. He's prepared to ride for Rowan Dennis.
It's also the riders from Francais de Joux with Arnaud Jonasson, and I think that's Jeremy Roy, who had that fantastic footage of yesterday's crash on his onboard camera. They're all working now. Cadel Evans, Rowan Dennis is working on the front. They're seeing a massive opportunity here to offload all the other contenders. They've opened this gap up to about 6, 7, almost 8 seconds now.
What an advantage when they get onto the Willunga Hill. You can't give these guys this lead. The best climbers are up the front now. And what's his name? Cadel Evans knows the situation. He knows what the gain is. He's giving Rowan Dennis his best shot.
What a race. The thing we're seeing is here in the front, we've got all the favourites who are there doing their share of the work. Dennis and Evans are both working. In the back, Richie Porte is letting his teammates do the work. So if they can come back, the advantage will swing back to Richie Porte, who's been sitting in the wheels.
Tom Dumoulin has been caught out as well. He's number 25, sitting on the back wheel of Michael Rogers. Rogers, a bit of a poker player too. He's one of the older riders, much more experienced, and maybe he's making the right decision there, Robbie, as well, just holding back, making sure that he doesn't push himself right up into the red zone and have his heart rate go up to 180, 190 beats a minute, so he can respond a bit later on.
Well, what a tremendous turn at the front here. Richie Porte now is finding gaps in front of him here. These are desperate moments at 5.6 kilometres to go. Everybody's going to throw in. Thiago Machado 104 there. He was hoping to take advantage of the infighting today and win the day. Well, now he's on the defensive as well.
Well, this is a big move by BMC and Astana. But as we said, Cadel Evans, Rowan Dennis both working. This could be something that ends up totally backfiring on them when Richie Porte, Tom Dumoulin, Michael Rogers are all sitting in the wheel, being brought back by their teammates. And they've decided, listen, this is not the thing to do. We've got to catch our breath. They're coming back at us, and they've been using their domestiques to do the work. So this is where it gets really interesting.
Yep, I think it's all going to come back together because they can only hold it up at the top end, the red zone, if you like, once you see the tachometer go right up to above 6,000 and 7,000 RPM. That's not very difficult to hold. It's not very easy to hold the engine up at that level. I think it'll all come back together, but it will have hurt a number of riders, that big acceleration. It was a good move there by Astana, but what's going to happen next?
Well, I think the ones that's hurt the most has been Cadel Evans and Rowan Dennis. They went with it, but they were working there. The others back in this second bunch have not had to do any work. They've let the domestiques do what they're paid to do. They've mopped things up. They've cleaned it up. So we saw this last year. Cadel Evans went out on the attack on the early part of the climb. Now he's gone out on the attack, sort of forced his hand by following Astana, but then he got smashed.
Orica Green Edge have nailed it back together, and that is number 16, the man who had the bike change before we started the climb, and he's pulled it all back together. Richie Porte is in there with his teammate. Also right up there as well is Simon Clark of Orica Green Edge as well.
Cycling on Sky Sports is sponsored by the London Bike Show.
Ben and Carlos are both having friends over for a movie. Ben has used Broadband Choices to compare the latest TV, broadband and mobile deals, whereas Carlos hasn't. So, it's lucky Ben can show him that it's easy to pick the perfect package using Broadband Choices. Broadband Choices. Are you missing out?
Dad sold our car to WeBuyAnyCar.com, didn't he? And then he used the money that they gave him to negotiate a better deal on a new car. We've even got a little bit of money left over.
Dad says he's going to buy a season ticket.
Did he now?
You might get a better deal too. Enter your reg number now at WeBuyAnyCar.com, the UK's favourite car buying service.
When my van's off the road, I'm not working. So what am I gonna do? His van's off the road, he's not working. So it's time he got something new.
Vanarama.
Vanarama. Vanarama, they're the ones to
With amazing deals like this new Peugeot Bipper from just £117 per month.
They're the ones you need to call.
Quidco.
I love Quidco.
I do my online shop and I earn a lot of dough.
Millions of people in the UK are earning cash rewards thanks to Quidco. Simply sign into Quidco, shop with one of the 4,200 retailers on the site, such as Expedia, and get a cash reward as a thank you.
Quidco. I love Quidco.
Quidco. Brands you know, rewards you'll love.
Day 3, west of Montenegro, somewhere in the Adriatic. Cardiff city centre is but a distant memory. Our existence is one long, endless routine. Chap called Pierre White in the galley.
Garnish, please.
He does what he can. Day 6, a search party ventures ashore, but finds only ruins. After dinner, some of the men inevitably go overboard. Will any of us ever see land again? Who knows? Who cares?
7 nights from $599 per person. Now with £200 per cabin to spend on board. P&O Cruises.
This is the life.
A wise man once said, give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. With our range of fish and sauce combinations, we'll keep you inspired any day of the week. Like our fresh salmon fillets paired with a chili lime and ginger dressing. Stay inspired with the Saucy Fish Company.
It's on, it's off, it's on, it's off.
Garen, what can you tell us?
Transfer deadline day is like no other day.
Deal's been done just right up until the last moment. This will go right down to the wire. We hear tonight they have an extension. He has signed. We're signing, I think.
Could well be a late night then.
This one is really in the balance. It's a cliffhanger.
The Capital One Cup semi-final second leg, Tuesday and Wednesday, Sky Sports 1.
Cycling on Sky Sports is sponsored by the London Bike Show.
We are in town now. You can see in the distance.
Well, it's now Orica Greenedge taking over control now. For Orica Greenedge, I would have thought that the most sensible tactic for them was to try and set a very nasty tempo on this climb to prevent the acceleration of the climbers, because I don't think Daryl Impey can respond to the accelerations of the big climbers. That's why they should set a steady pace.
Well, they'd like a really nice regular pace. It's Simon Clark, who we see here from Orica Greenedge, leading the bunch, a former king of the mountains in the Tour of Spain, the Vuelta a España, who's leading the bunch. Geraint Thomas in his wheel, Luke Durbridge back to the front. So they've got Daryl Impey here right at the front of the bunch, right where he needs to be.
This is why Clarkey's on the front. Clarkey's lost too much time to win the race, but he's there for Daryl.
Exactly. It's just pure teamwork here, and they know what sort of climb Daryl needs to ride. Nice and regular, nice and smooth, but I'm sure there's a few blokes in there that aren't planning on that.
Well, Daryl Impey's moved up into about 4th or 5th position. He's got that jersey on his shoulders there. Simon Clark's a long way down in the overall standings, but it's a question of payback time for the team here this afternoon. I think he will just lay it on the line for Daryl Impey this afternoon. Cadel Evans a little bit further back. He's riding behind Tiago Machado, the Portuguese rider on Team Katusha. Over to the left, you can now start to see moving forward the black jersey of Sky trying to pace up their man, Richie Porte, into a good position.
As they're coming through Willunga now, they're heading onto the hill for the last time. The crowd has been treated to another superb day of racing in the Santos Tour Down Under. Geraint Thomas, the Commonwealth Games champion, is on the front. He's the teammate of Richie Porte. Are they trying to set Porte up for the attack? Daryl Impey, they say, can't climb, but he's in a perfect position to take this race.
There's a bunch of riders now pulling off, having set the pace. Simon Clark has gone from the front end, but it's still Orica Greenedge looking over to see what they can do. Daryl Impey moving up into 2nd position there in In 4th position is Rowan Dennis. Tiago Machado is there, about 8th or 9th position. That style of Cadel Evans is still locked in the line of all of the other contenders.
Well, it's Orica Greenedge at the front of the bunch, but it's Geraint Thomas who is on the front pushing the pace. Is he going to just completely wind it up, put everybody in the red zone, hope for the same situation as last year, that Richie Porte can then take advantage of that work and come over the top? If they're going to split this up and get rid of Rowan Dennis and Cadel Evans, they're going to have to start attacking about now.
Well, as they've done their job, Christian Jurasek of Lamprey has gone off the back. Now too, Luke Durbridge has just gone off the back. He's done his job. It's the men now left up front who's got to win this tour. Gianpaolo Caruso also dropped in. It's all because of the pacemaking here of Geraint Thomas, but the ochre jersey of Rowan Dennis is second. Cameron Myers, the boy in white to the right. Tiago Machado is here. Cadel Evans, number 1, and just behind him, sat on the wheel, is Porte, and behind Porte is Tom Dumoulin. The first 3 of the first 4 riders there.
Well, you see here Thomas just winding up the pace, gradually getting quicker and quicker. Daryl Impey looking very comfortable in 2nd position, shadowed by his own teammate Cameron Meyer. Rowan Dennis, complete control, 4th position, and he's quite away in front, a number of lengths in front of the rest of the favourites. Cadel Evans being shadowed back there by Richie Porte. Tom Dumoulin behind him, Pozzovivo, our 4 best climbers from the other day, all staying together. The door is open at the back. Guys are going out the back door of this bunch, but there's no real attacks just yet.
No, it's just a high speed. Adam Hansen has gone there, but now Daryl Impey today wears that red jersey as leader of the points, so don't mistake him. He's definitely a white jerseyed rider for Orica Greenedge. The face there of Rowan Dennis watching everybody. He's got a lot left, you can tell it. Dumoulin is coming up as well in that white jersey. Geraint Thomas is now gone. He's done his job.
Well, it's former race winner Cameron Meyer who's now gone to the front. The other big favourites are starting to get more towards the front too. Cadel Evans is moving up towards the wheel of Rowan Dennis. I saw Pozzovivo stretching his legs, getting out of the saddle, having a bit of a look, but at the moment it's still status quo. Cameron Meyer setting the perfect pace for Daryl Impey to defend his overall position, and is anyone going to try anything to pull this race away, to drag that ochre jersey off Rowan Dennis's shoulders?
Well, Impey, who's second in our picture and receiving all the help from Cameron Meyer, a former winner of this race at the front, starts the day 13 seconds off the win. There's a 10-second win bonus as we climb to the summit of the Willunga Hill. I've never seen so many riders still together on this climb before.
Well, it's like they're all too worried to attack in case they go deep in the red. Cadel is very wary after last year of what happened and Richie Porte went over the top. Cadel also knows if he can win the sprint and win this stage, get the 10 seconds bonus, if Rowan Dennis finishes outside the first 3, he will win this tour.
Cameron Meyer, his face never tells us how he really feels. He's looked over his shoulder. He's seen his teammate there in the II-Net points jersey, and that's Daryl Impey. Machado is the rider in white. The rider in pure white back there is Dumoulin. And Richie Porte is yet to make a move. They are climbing so fast, and they're only 1.6 kilometres from the line.
Well, the pace is so high that nobody dares make an attack. Machado's starting to look to labour there in 4th position. If anyone could go, it should be Machado. 25 seconds down the overall classification. They might let him get away, but Cameron Myers pushing the pace so very hard. Michael Rogers towards the back of the group. It doesn't look like he's got an attack in him.
No, and all the work by Astana. Sanchez is alongside Rogers back there. They're too far down to do anything now. This man who won this race, Cameron Meyer, he won the race a while ago now, but he's in 2011. He's preferred to help now. Daryl Impey take the bonus. But look at the face of the ochre jersey, Robbie. He's not under pressure. He's concentrating, Rowan Dennis.
He looks completely relaxed, and it wouldn't surprise me if we get into this last kilometre and Rowan Dennis stamps his authority on this race and takes off on his own. He looks so completely comfortable.
And Cadel Evans dances up behind his young teammate as well. They're still holding on to first and second. 31 on the wheel of Evans is Richie Porte.
Here it is!
Here he goes. He suddenly switches to the left of the road. The big 3 are on the move.
Well, Richie Porte, he just laid all his cards on the table. A massive acceleration. Big chain ring. Cadel Evans responded immediately, and he's getting dropped. Cadel Evans can't follow.
Cadell has swung away and he's left it to Rowan Dennis to see what he can do. Chased there by Dumoulin. Posavivo's trying to get on terms, but right now it's all or nothing for Richie Porte. He won here a year ago. It wasn't enough to take the lead. Can he convert his deficit now? But Rowan Dennis has got him.
Well, the one man that could cross that gap, and oh, so easily, Rowan Dennis. He glided across the gap. Tom Dumoulin, he's fighting to get back on terms, but it's Richie Porte. He goes again out of the saddle, but Dennis has hardly lifted out for the first time he gets up to follow Richie Porte, still looking quite comfortable.
Well, they've got the cycle instead rider at the back in trouble, Dumoulin, but at the moment it's one-on-one now. Richie Porte, the pretender for the throne, wants to get rid of this youngster from South Australia, and he's hanging there. The limpet is attached, and I don't think he's going to shed him. 3/4 of a kilometre to the line. Fabulous riding by, indeed, Richie Porte. Cadell Evans fades. Richie Porte is climbing the overall, but the youngster Rowan Dennis
is hanging to crack.
15 seconds, 10 seconds for the win. He gets 10 seconds. He needs another 5 gap to make it the victory. And Richie Porte has pulled clear. This is a man totally inspired. He wants this race so much. As he comes up towards the summit now, I think he might just do it. The flag of South Africa flies, but it's a man from Tasmania who leads. It's just a corner towards the finish. Every second literally will count. What an incredible ride by Richie Porte of Team Sky. He's being pulled to the line. He gets the 10-second bonus. Now what does he get when he crosses the line? He's got the victory, as he did a year ago. But the man who finishes second also gets a bonus. It might be enough to save the day.
I'm going to have a guess. I think Rowan Dennis has conserved the jersey by a single second.
Well, we'll find out when Richie, and in 4th place there, Cadell Evans has come across the line. Posavivo there, Machado is there as they all come in. Well, you've got to take your hat off to 2 men, but primarily you've got to salute Richie Porte.
Richie, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that, not just in this race, but in any race. The battle, he dared him to hang on to his wheel. It was all Richie Porte, the acceleration, the attack. He went until he just literally blew them all up one by one. Evans responded initially to the attack of Richie Porte. Rowan Dennis he was gliding up with him. Richie Porte, such a long time out of the saddle. That is a full sprint up this climb, Phil. Cadell down in the drops like he's about to ride a sprint, and Richie not looking behind, giving it absolutely everything. Has a first look. As he looks over his shoulder, it's Cadell Evans who cracks first.
And what do you think of this kid, Rowan Dennis, from Man of the Future? He went there, but boy, he hung on in. Look, I've made quick calculations. I think he's kept his jersey by 2 seconds, but don't take my word for that.
Well, it's really going to come down to what the clock says. But Richie Porte, he looked back a couple of times, accelerated again. He's in the big chain ring going up this climb. And he looked and he said, boy, if you're going to win this race, you're going to have to stick right by me. And he just bit between the teeth like I've never seen before, and he eventually could blow Rowan Dennis up, but Dennis held a really good pace right through to the finish line and has taken a 6-second bonus of his own.
Correct.
So Richie Porte's picked up 4 in bonuses on the line, plus whatever the gap is going to be. I think 9 or 10 seconds.
My computer says 9. He's gained 4 seconds on the bonuses. He started the day 15 behind. It makes him 13. We'll wait and see. Let's join Paul Sherwin with Richie Porte.
Richie, this has been a phenomenal performance. Willunga Hill always seems to smile on you.
Yeah, I know this climb quite well. It suits me a lot better than the stage at Paracombe, but I don't think I quite got the jersey, which is a bit of a disappointing. But no, I mean, my team were fantastic today, and full credit to Rowan. I mean, I gave it to him as hard as I could, but just wasn't quite to be. But I'm very happy to win the stage. It's a great way to start the year. I had a rough last year, so it's just nice to get, off to a good start.
Amazing fight, but we're only talking seconds. This race is far from over. It can still go down to the street of Adelaide tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it can. But, I was sort of hoping to finish it off here, but, it's so nice to win on this stage, but it is a bit disappointing to be so close to the jersey. But, we'll see what happens tomorrow.
For the joy of winning in front of a great home crowd.
Yeah, I mean, it's been absolutely unbelievable the whole week. And today, it's like you're riding a stage of the Tour or the Giro. It's unbelievable.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Richie Porte gave him everything there. Now, let's have a look at the results first of all. Porte, 9 seconds over the line ahead of Dennis, 16 over Ruben Fernandez, Evans at 16 and Dumoulin at 16. And that's going to make, I think, the good news for Rowan Dennis. I think it means he keeps his overall lead by just a couple of seconds. We'll let the judges confirm that as best we can. Now, Paul, let's go back to Paul Show, and he's now with Rowan Dennis.
Well, Rowan Dennis, it's a little bit of a mathematics that we had to figure out there, but we've got you in the lead by just a couple of seconds. That was a hard day.
Oh, it was. Our team worked the front all day with only a little bit of help, but yeah, they were amazing. I can't.
What about when Richie Porte went away? Was there a little bit of panic on board?
Yeah, I saw Cadell sort of just got on the wheel, and he was, unfortunately, he couldn't hold it, and I was lucky enough to have some sort of a jump left. I jumped onto Richie's wheel, but he was just powering away.
Any words of wisdom from Cadell over those last few kilometres?
Nobody could talk. There was no words of wisdom. It was just stay at the front as usual, stay out of the wind, and just follow. Luckily, they set a good tempo on the front, and it sort of nullified any attacks from the behind. And Richie sort of went, in hindsight, probably a little bit too late, because really, he had better legs than me today, so I've got to thank him, but also my team is just absolutely awesome, absolutely awesome.
Well done today, great race.
Thank you.
Yes, let's have a look then. There it is. Dennis does hold on to the ochre jersey. First man to do that on the old Willunga Hill, ahead of Richie Porte by 2 seconds, who's now into second. Cadell Evans is 20 seconds. He's into third place at the moment, down from second. Dumoulin down from third to fourth. Fernandez comes up, but he's 24 seconds back. And Pozzovivo, he is in sixth place. 31 seconds to the gap. You can't do more than your best. And this man unloaded everything today on the highways here in South Australia.
Yeah, Richie Porte, absolutely brilliant. When you go away from the 2015 edition of the Santos Tour Down Under, this will be one of the great highlights. Richie Porte winning stage 5.
One of the things he knew that he wanted was this ochre jersey that he's about to receive on stage. He took that stage win the other day in Paracom, came from behind, hit them hard, hit them fast, took the stage win and took the jersey. There was speculation about, oh, well, maybe will they hand it on to Cadell Evans? Will they try and orchestrate the big final farewell to Cadell with a jersey? But Rowan Dennis, the young up-and-comer, there's a time of coming, there's a time of going. Cadell's given us many fantastic moments, but this is one of the first big, fantastic moments for Rowan Dennis.
Yeah, the guard changed on Willunga Hill.
The 2015 Tour Down Under draws to a close with a sprint circuit around the city of Adelaide. We'll have all the action live for you on Sunday, starting at 2:30 a.m. on Sky Sports 1. And there are highlights later in the day at 8:30 a.m. also on Sky Sports 1. Highlights from all the stages of this year's race are also available on demand.